solve log base 8 of x plus 5 plus log base 8 of x minus 2 is equal to 1. I'm going to take a moment here and try and figure out what the solutions to this equation are going to be like before we actually solve this. Because when we solve logarithmic equations, it's possible that we're going to get false solutions. It's possible we're going to get answers at the end that aren't really solutions to the original problem. So, and it's easier for me at this point to figure that out. I cannot take the logarithm of a negative number or even 0. So I need to take logarithms of only positive numbers. So x has to be bigger than negative 5 in order to have a positive number here. X equals negative 5 would give me 0, which I can't take the logarithm of. So x has to be bigger than negative 5. Likewise, over here, x would have to be bigger than 2 in order to make this positive. So if I'm going to plug in a value of x, it has to make this positive and it has to make this positive. And so we need x to be bigger than 2. So any answers that we get have to be bigger than 2 so that both of the arguments of these logarithms will be positive. So now, let's combine these two logarithms together using the product formula. Log base 8 of x plus 5 times x minus 2 is equal to 1. And now that we have this written as a purely logarithmic statement, the log base 8 of some stuff is equal to 1, I'm going to write it as an exponential statement. 8 to the 1 is equal to x plus 5 times x minus 2. So now I have an equation that I think is going to be quadratic. I'm going to have to FOIL out the right-hand side here and combine like terms. I'll just write 8 is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 5x minus 10. Combining like terms, I'm going to have x squared minus 2x and plus 5x is plus 3x. And when we take the 8 over to the other side, so we subtract 8, we're going to get minus 18. So I'm going to write it as x squared plus 3x minus 18 is equal to 0. So now we're going to factor this, or if you don't want to factor, you could always use the quadratic formula. I think this factors as x plus 6 and x minus 3. I can check that as x times x gives me x squared. 6 times minus 3 gives me the minus 18. The cross terms would be plus 6x and minus 3x, which does give me the plus 3x I need in the middle. So now I'll use the zero product property and have x plus 6 is equal to 0, or x minus 3 is equal to 0. This one would say x is equal to negative 6 when I subtract 6 from each side. When I add 3 to both sides for this one, I'll get x is equal to positive 3. I already discussed the fact that x has to be bigger than 2 in order to be a solution to this. Negative 6 would make the argument of this logarithm negative. It would also make the argument of this logarithm negative, which is why when we use the product formula, the negative times a negative would have given us a positive. But we can't have negative 6 because these arguments are separated to begin with. However, x equals 3 would give us a positive argument here and a positive argument here, so it's OK. So the solution set, so we're going to reject this one. So the solution set to this equation is only the number 3.